Good morning and welcome to the Kennebec Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Insider Breakfast. My name is Ross Cunningham. I'm the President and CEO of the Kennebec Valley Chamber of Commerce. A special thank you to our Business Insider sponsors, Kennebec Savings Bank and Central Maine Power. This morning we celebrate the graduation of the 29th class of the Kennebec Leadership Institute. KLI, the Kennebec Leadership Institute, is a business community leadership development program requiring a commitment of over 80 hours of training time. The curriculum is divided into three major components: leadership skill building, leadership experiences, and Kennebec Valley issues. KLI is a joint program between the Kennebec Valley Chamber and the University of Maine at Augusta. This year's course was sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield and Kennebec Savings Bank. Our sincere thanks to them. In addition, we'd like to recognize the breakfast for the graduates this morning was provided by several sponsors: the Copy Center, Kennebec Technologies, G&E Roofing, and Sprague & Curtis Real Estate. Thank you to all those folks. These 15 students have been meeting since mid-February on a weekly basis with facilitator Steve Pecchiaconis. I graduated from one of Steve's leadership courses several years ago, and I have fond memories of the in-depth discussions and the wealth of knowledge I received in that class. So I have a few thoughts for the graduates. I encourage you to do two things. First, keep your notes. Refer back to them in a couple years and they'll reopen your eyes to some issues you discussed in class, and that will help you quite a bit. Second, stay in touch. The folks you went through this class with and graduate with today will be a great resource to you as you continue in your professional careers. Set up a quarterly gathering or hold an annual reunion. It'll benefit you greatly. So I congratulate you, I wish you the best, and I look forward to working with you as you become more involved in our communities. At this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Glenn Cummings, President of the University of Maine at Augusta, to come share a few thoughts with us.
Thank you, Ross, and thank you. Congratulations to the KLI graduates today. It's an honor to be here. We're delighted to be a co-sponsor with the Chamber for this event. As you know, every great region has to have great leaders, and it's wonderful to have a program like this to make sure that we do have those. I want to say just a couple things. Just in my own experience of leadership, I always remember the story that my grandmother always told when I was young about leadership that really kind of helped me understand some of the key dimensions of it, mostly humility. And she used to tell this story about the Maine farmer who had a small Maine coastal saltwater farm. It was pretty tiny. He had a brother-in-law who was a big Texas rancher who had a gigantic ranch. And so the brother-in-law comes up and he says, you all want to show me your farm tomorrow? And the Maine farmer, sure. So they get up early and they walk around the farm, and they're back in about an hour. And the Texas rancher says, "You all got to be kidding me." He says, if you got in my truck at 6 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't be back until 9 o'clock at night on my ranch. And the Maine farmer says, "Yep, I had a truck like that once myself." It does remind us that likability and humility goes a long way in leadership. No matter how powerful and smart and talented and well-educated you are, it makes a huge difference. And I just would, I'm sure that Steve has sort of ignited this in you, but there's Jim Collins, who wrote Good to Great. He talks about the difference. He said there are kind of two leaders, two sort of prototypes of leaders, and one he called sort of what called a productive narcissist, which I think is intriguing. It basically means that you're a good leader, you're charismatic, you're charming, you're wonderful, you're out there working hard, but you're getting some level of gratification and desire of affirmation that is very important to you personally, and that you need that. But then he talked about these level 5 leaders. These level 5 leaders are really intriguing. He very rigorously studied these companies nationally and internationally that had for over 15 years been above Standard & Poor's profit rates. So he looks at these and he discovers something that you would not have expected in the textbooks. Turns out that these leaders, these CEOs, men and women, had unique characteristics of humility, very little interest in the limelight for themselves, fierce determination for the benefit of the common welfare of the organization, but without a lot of their ego being attached to it. And interestingly enough, to move to that level 5, most of them had had serious personal challenges that they had to overcome. Cancer, divorce, job loss, a variety of things that they had to overcome. That created the humility, the sense of service, the sense of common welfare that was important for them to move beyond productive narcissists to this level 5 leader, which made them exceptionally productive and exceptionally powerful because they pushed off their own glory for the glory of the organization and were very quietly, firmly committed to the outcomes of that organization. So with that, I want to say we are delighted to have somebody like Steve Pekakonis. Steve has been teaching KLI here in Augusta since it began 28 years ago, and given that he's 30, that's pretty impressive. His passion for community service has not only kept him firmly involved in this program, but he also serves as executive director of the Downtown Alliance here in Augusta. And he's striving to make our historic downtown a more vibrant part of the region. It's very important to all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking and welcoming Steve to the podium to talk about his graduates.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you all. Thank you, Glenn. In just a few minutes, you're going to meet the members of this year's class of the Kennebec Leadership Institute. But I told them I would get the chance to have the last word at graduation. Well, but it's going to be the almost last word. They're going to come up after me, and you're going to hear from them, and they're going to tell you a little bit about the program, their experience of the program. And this is part of the curriculum itself, having to get up here and make a speech in front of this assembled group of people. That's part of what you got to do if you're going to play more of a leadership role in your business, your community, your neighborhood, your house of worship, your whatever. And one of the things that's exciting for me about a community leadership institute is that it's just that. The key word is community. And we're certainly hoping, as a Chamber of Commerce, that people are going to take the skills and the techniques and the networking that they get out of this program, and they're going to use it in their businesses, and they're going to help improve the economy. But there's more to a community than just an economy. And we're hoping that in whatever way people are moved, wherever people find their passion, they'll get involved, and they will help make the Kennebec Valley a better place to live, a better place to work, a better place to raise a family now and for decades to come. So, with that, my speech. We gather this morning to recognize the accomplishments of the 15 men and women that you're going to meet here and to celebrate their graduation from this 2015 Kennebec Leadership Institute. As you've heard, the 29th class of this program. And I believe that if a leadership institute has done its job well, that this is as much a beginning as it is an ending. And I believe that you will be hearing from and seeing more of these 15 people in the years to come. So, graduates, you're mostly over here. Good, it makes it easy for me to talk to you. Today we mark the end of your experience as a participant in the 2015 Kennebec Leadership Institute, and hopefully the beginning of your new or your re-emerged presence as a leader in your workplace and in your community. And as I've done 28 times before, I want to offer people 4 reminders of things that we've heard, things that we've talked about, things that we've discussed, and things that we thought about during the 14 weeks that we've spent together. Reminder number 1 is the importance of finding your passion in life and your passions in leadership. Get involved in things that you really do care about, or as it's often been said, do what you love and love what you do. Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon.com and the Time Magazine Man of the Year for 1999, said, "One of the huge mistakes people make is that they try to force an interest on themselves. You don't choose your passions choose you." And Steve Jobs, the founder and COO of Apple, Fortune Magazine CEO of the Decade for the 2000s, said, "You've got to find what you love.
If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know it when you find it. Here in the Kennebec Valley, there are lots of opportunities to get involved. Some of those things that may come your way will seem very flattering and very desirable, full of possibilities for position, power, influence, recognition, exposure, a great line on your resume. But be very careful. Be true to your passions, be true to your beliefs, be true to your values, because in the long run, it will turn out very unsatisfying if you don't have that passion behind what you choose to get involved in. Reminder number 2 is to believe in yourself, your abilities, and your dreams. Ralph Waldo Emerson said in his famous 1836 essay, Nature, "There is nothing capricious in nature, and the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is in the constitution of the creature that feels it." Let me translate that for you into modern vernacular. According to Emerson, and I believe this as well, you would not have been given the desire to achieve something unless you were also given the ability to achieve it. Otherwise, nature, God, life would be some sort of jokester, which they clearly are not. Believe that if you have a strong desire to do something, you also have the ability to do it. So go for it. Get started now. Don't wait until you're ready, because you're never ready. Why not start it today? And remember that confidence and faith in oneself may be the single most important factor separating the leader from the follower. Belief in self will open doors, it will get you through tough times and challenges intact and strong, and it will attract other people to you who, even though they may not know exactly what it is, know you've got something they like, you've got something that they want to be around. Always remember that you are a unique human being among all the billions who live or who have ever lived on this planet, with special gifts and a unique purpose or mission to fulfill. The Dalai Lama said, with realization of one's own potential and self-confidence in one's own ability, one person can build a better world. And as the famous Irish playwright Oscar Wilde so pithily said, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. So, yes, believe in yourself, but be careful of arrogance and pride, which brings me to my third reminder. Other people are and always will be your most important resource. Few people accomplish anything of value or significance in this world alone, and that is one of the great rules, the great lessons, and the great wonders of life. We can do more together than we can do individually, and we will enjoy it a lot more as well. I guess think of your class projects as proof of that maxim. Remember that as a leader, you will get what you need and what you want only to the extent that you help other people get what they need and get what they want. The best leaders recognize and build on other people's needs for accomplishment, for growth, for recognition, for acceptance, for value. If you can help other people get those things in their lives, they will help you get done anything that you want to accomplish. There's a concept called servant leadership, of which Ken Blanchard said, servant leadership is all about making the goals clear and then rolling up your sleeves and doing whatever it takes to help people win. In that situation, they don't work for you, you work for them. And as the poet Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And finally, point number 4, success is as much a journey as it is a destination. How you get somewhere is as important as where you're going. So know where you're going, have goals, have dreams, have a mission for your life. But remember that life itself is a fragile gift that comes without any guarantees. It could end for us at any time. And if it did, could you honestly go without regrets for the things you didn't do, the things you didn't say, the things you kept putting off until tomorrow? Yes, think about tomorrow, but not at the expense of today, because today is all you really have for certain. Enjoy it, be in it, and most of all, do something with it. Carpe diem, seize the day. Pay attention to all that life has to offer you. It's all important. It all has something to teach you if you'll let it. Remember the Native American proverb, when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Now comes the two most important words in any speech, in conclusion. In conclusion, graduates, thank you for everything you've given me, everything you've shared with me, everything that you've taught me over these 3 months that we've been together. I've enjoyed it immensely. I will always remember and I will always value it. And please know that I will always be on your side and just a phone call or an email away. So congrats on being part of Kennebec Leadership Institute 2015, and I wish you nothing but the best in all you do. Thank you. And now we're going to meet some of the graduates. A couple of graduates have agreed to come up first and be available for taping and broadcast over the worldwide network. And so each speaker is going to come up and going to tell you a little bit about their experience with the Kennebec Leadership Institute. And our first speaker this morning is the Director of Spiritual Care at Maine General Medical Center. Please join me in congratulating Dave Gant. And if I could get Ross and Glenn, if you could come up as well so we can hand out certificates, I would appreciate that.
10 minutes on tape. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Oh, even better.
And I can hold those for you, Dave.
I'm shaking because I'm nervous.
I can hold those for you.
I won't try to put a pin on. Good morning. I'm honored to be with you this morning, and I'm honored to be talking about our opening weekend of the Kennebec Leadership Institute. Roughly 12 weeks ago, we gathered in a hotel conference room in Waterville, Maine to kick off our opening weekend. We all probably came there with something different, maybe a bit of nerves, along with a lot of expectation. I imagine that each one of us sat there that first morning wondering what was going to happen and how the whole weekend was going to play out. We hit the ground running, exercises to get to know each other. We had a personal vision statement. We broke bread together. We shared a meal. We got a bit foolish playing games that night. And we had two speakers that weekend, Laura Hudson and Wayne Mitchell. Both speakers were excellent. They were personable and creative in the ways that they delivered their messages. Somewhere along the way, as I was taking notes, one of the speakers said something that really caught my attention. I remember I wrote it down, I circled it, I put stars all around it. And I can tell you for that particular moment, it felt like that speaker was speaking directly to me. And they were saying something exactly the way that I needed to hear it at that time. I've decided that that's part of the magic of our opening weekend at KLI. I suppose that each one of us at a different point in time during that weekend felt like we were being spoken to personally. And we were hearing exactly what we needed to hear at that particular time. KLI opening weekend started each one of us on our individual and our communal journey. And I'm here to tell you that the Kennebec Valley is never going to be the same again. Thank you very much.
Our second graduate here this morning is the controller at Alcom. Please join me in congratulating Courtney Rustemeyer. Hold those for you.
Thanks. Wow, that's a tough act to follow. All right. I just want to start off by saying it was an honor to be a part of this class. One of my favorite pieces of the Institute was our 8 panels that we had that were night evening classes. And the panels were something that brought all of us exposed to different issues in the Kennebec Valley, and just different great people that were available to us for resources in the Kennebec Valley. The panels were part of the historic development and economic base, state and local government, public safety and emergency preparedness, education K through 12, post-secondary education and workforce development, economic development, KV downtowns past, present, and future, which I think was Steve's probably most favorite one. And last but not least, the civic and cultural organizations in the Kennebec Valley. During those panels, we heard from 46 different leaders in the Kennebec Valley, and I think Allison's going to take this later, but I just want to thank all of you. It was a great experience to be able to listen to all of you and get your insight in everything that that you had to show us and teach us. This was probably my favorite part of the class. Is I joined KLI because I'm not originally from the Kennebec Valley. I'm not originally from the state of Maine. So I joined to get to know people and get those influential people and just get out there. I didn't know where to start. So these panels gave me that resource to be able to have people to reach out to and just have those resources available to me now if I do have some ideas on where I want to go from here. So they kind of showed all of us some issues in the Kennebec Valley that we might not have been aware of. And that is a great thing, so now we can go out and help them. So basically it's just so we can help the Kennebec Valley. This is the mission statement that we came up with, one of our groups came up with on opening weekend. We want the Kennebec Valley to be a community that everyone wants to be a part of and a place for us and our children to live, work, and grow. And that's what we all hope for the Kennebec Valley.
We have so many dynamic and capable young people coming up in the Kennebec Valley that I get to meet through KLI year after year. It's one of the exciting parts of the Institute. And we'll continue with that with our third graduate. She is a utility arborist with Central Maine Power Company. Please congratulate Mei Ling Chung.
Good morning. So some of you might know that each year KLI classes are required to complete a group project. We have chosen 2 projects. The first project is to renovate the kitchen space located at the Augusta Boys and Girls Club. The club would like to provide a healthy cooking and eating program for at-risk teens, but does not have a sufficient space to do so. We are in the midst of conquering this challenge, and it is a challenge, and intend to upgrade the electric and plumbing to meet code standards at the club, or just in the club kitchen area. Install new cupboards because theirs are falling apart and don't work. We intend to upgrade the broken appliances and install a kind of like a commercial hood with a fire suppression system over the stove, and install hopefully a commercial dishwasher and do a bunch of other small things. But those are the major things. So, just think about renovating your kitchen at home. When complete, the kitchen will support the club's needs as the healthy cooking and eating program continues to grow the demands of the community caused by the increase of food insecurity that is in our community. Thank you.
Our fourth graduate is a lieutenant in the Augusta Fire Department. Please join me in congratulating Jason Mills.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the completion of Kennebec Leadership Institute Class 29. My name is Jason Mills. I'm a lieutenant with the Augusta Fire Department. I want to first extend my sincere appreciation to Chief Roger Audette and City Manager Bill Briggio, who made it possible for me to be part of this event. It was an extraordinary experience with extraordinary people. As members of the Kennebec Valley community, most of you are aware that the area was hit hard by residential fires over the last several months. In a short period this winter, in the city of Augusta alone, 3 fires destroyed 3 buildings and displaced 46 people. Through the grace of God, the bravery and skill of firefighters and fire chiefs, including KLI graduates, Chief Roger Audette, Chief John Bennett, Chief Stephen Leach, and Chief Scott Dunbar, the buildings were lost, the possessions were lost, but the lives were saved. We are thankful for organizations like the Red Cross, the United Way, their employees, volunteers, and for a generous community that work tirelessly together to restore the victims. Unfortunately, those victims receiving aid after the fire are the lucky ones. They are the ones that made it out. They are the ones that get a chance to rebuild, to start over. 7 times every day, someone in the United States does not get that opportunity. 7 times every day, someone in the United States does not walk out through the smoke and start over. And 7 times every day, that person may be a child, through no fault of his or her own, perished because on the wall of their bedroom there was not a $15 device. As a result of this, members of the KLI Class 29 have been inspired to make a difference that those children cannot make on their own. A program called My Pet Smoke Detector is being created with the intention of placing a smoke detector in the bedroom of every kindergartner in the cities of Augusta and Waterville. The program is simple and effective. Community leaders and firefighters work together with children to make their pet smoke detector, a smoke detector decorated to look like a Dalmatian wearing a fire helmet. Ownership is created, children are educated. With new smoke detector technology, those children will be protected until they are nearly adults. Commitments have been made to produce this program yearly. Eventually, smoke detectors will be present in every child's bedroom in these communities. The program will be templated and made available to any community that wishes to implement it and make that difference. The program is new, but we want it to be enduring. If at some point in the last few minutes you got goosebumps, the hair in your arm stood up a little bit, if some of these facts were hard to hear, please, we need help from people like you filling these seats today to make this program a success. I've been fighting fire since I was 16 years old. Trust me when I tell you, this will be the difference. This program will save lives. We may never know how many lives we save, but we will always know the ones that we do not. I will leave you with this. My favorite song is called The Change by Garth Brooks. If you haven't heard the song, or you haven't heard it in a long time, go listen to it today. The opening line reads, "One hand reaches out and pulls a lost soul from harm." Help us be that one hand.
That's the kind of difference that a local program like the Kennebec Leadership Institute can make when you've got people with passion and a desire and a willingness to just put themselves out there. And I would not be surprised if we hear a lot about this program in years to come. Our 5th graduate is a student advisor at Kaplan University. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming to the podium Katie Cormier.
Good morning, everyone. We can do better than that. Good morning. I would like to share with you some of the leadership skills that we, KLI Class of 29, have learned throughout our experience.
We spent a lot of time collaborating together, sharing different experiences and practices to help develop ourselves to be better leaders. We spent time covering on how to deal with conflicts, problem solving, and how to run effective meetings. We determined our leadership styles and the differences between a good leader and not just a manager. We learned the best ways to work in a team, whether if you're the leader or participating. We all had our aha moment, as Dave mentioned earlier, as he had at opening weekend. But most importantly, from Steve and the speakers that we had, we learned to be ourselves and be real. We have grown individually as a class, but also as a community. I would like to take this time now to thank Steve from the class of 29 for helping us develop ourselves to be better leaders who have affected so many lives year after year, developing a strong Kennebec Valley full of leaders. We would like to present you with this gift. It's a gift to your favorite restaurant in Rockland for you and your wife to go out and enjoy a nice evening together.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Should have been in Augusta. But thank you. Congratulations, Katie.
I want to lose that. Thank you all. I'll thank you after. Graduate number 6 is a compliance coordinator at Maine General Medical Center. Please congratulate Rhonda Garber.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rhonda Garber. As Steve just said, I am the compliance coordinator for Maine General Health. I've worked for them since 2009, and I live in Waterville. From day one in my role as compliance coordinator, I have had the privilege and opportunity to learn something new every single day. And truly, that is the biggest reason why I love my job and why I love KLI. I'd like to share with you a few things that I learned. Specifically, I want to talk about one of the speakers from opening weekend, back when we had snowbanks, and it was, I think, late January or February. The speaker was Laura Hudson. She is a program director for Leadership Maine, and she captured our attention right from the start. And it was right before lunch. So you can imagine there's a challenge capturing our attention right before lunch, but she did a great job. She shared stories and real-life examples of how to become a great leader. She had lots of pieces of advice, but there were a few things that really stood out for me that I'd like to share with you. So the most meaningful thing that she shared was, repay kindness tenfold. We hear pay it forward. You know, we all try to help each other and help other people, but paying it forward and repaying kindness tenfold really spoke volumes to me, because it's not just pay it forward, tenfold, 10 times more than what you've received. And there are no better examples of that than my classmates in KLI, because this group of people has shown me in amazing ways how to help other people, as well as the people that spoke to us, the panels and the speakers. It's been very meaningful. The second thing I'd like to share with you is that she said that we should be thinking about adding value in our roles where we're working. That meant a lot to me too, because we all want to do a great job and work hard, but adding value and really thinking about how can I add value made me pause, because perhaps when we're making a decision about next steps or about a class we want to take or a certification we'd like to earn, I'm looking at it from a different perspective and how I can add value. The next thing is something that we heard from almost every speaker in different ways. The words that Laura used were lean into discomfort. So take risks, be brave. I am braver now because of KLI. I'm doing things I wasn't doing before. So I appreciated learning that. Lastly, I'll share of the many things that Laura taught us is to find balance in our lives, making time for family, making our priorities not just our professional life, but also our personal life, and taking care of ourselves, our physical health, our mental health, our spiritual health, and continuing that day to day, not to lose focus. Laura stood out to me most of all because her message was truly from the heart and very inspirational to me and meaningful to me. So I thank Laura. I don't see her here today, but I thank her as well as all of the speakers. Every single one of the speakers had so much to offer. Thank you very much. I almost said that.
Our next graduate is an enrollment specialist at one of our institute sponsors, the University of Maine at Augusta. Please congratulate Leo LeBranch. I got it.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I didn't want to go first this morning, but after listening to the last several people, I realized that much of my material has been covered. So my speech might be a little bit short, but I'd just like to, first introduce myself. My name's Leo LeBranch. I work at the University of Maine at Augusta. I'm in the enrollment department. And today I would like to talk about a very important part of the Kennebec Leadership Institute experience, and that is the full-day classes or full-day sessions that we have. These day-long sessions allow us to spend 8 hours together as a class, during which Steve will give us a lecture, an excellent lecture. He helped me write it. And then we will have time afterwards to discuss the content that was presented throughout the day and over lunch as well. So another thing that's very special about the full-day sessions is that we have the extraordinary opportunity to meet and spend time with some leaders in the Kennebec Valley. Our guests usually start by giving us a brief talk and then allow us time to ask questions, interact with them, and really engage them. We get to ask questions about their experience as leaders in the Kennebec Valley, but more importantly, we have the opportunity to relate our experiences and talk to them about our personal issues that we've faced in the Kennebec Valley. So on behalf of the class, I would like to thank the following people for taking time to make this such a phenomenal experience that it has been. These folks have taken about a couple hours out of their day, which is a lot, just to meet with our class personally and talk to us one-on-one. And that is Wayne Mitchell, Laura Hudson, Mark Johnston, Amanda Bartlett, Lori LaChance, and Sarah Burns. So again, I would like to thank these extraordinary people for their time they have given us, stories they have shared, and the extraordinary value they have brought to our lives. Thank you.
Congratulations. Nice job. Don't go away with that. Thanks, Leo. Our next graduate is a Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer with Kennebec Savings Bank. Please join me in congratulating James Legassi. And he's got his speech on his device. Yeah.
I was impressed by the high tech.
Yeah, really.
Appreciate
No,
it.
you're not done yet.
All right. Great.
No, I
Thank you,
will hold
Steve.
that for you.
There we go. Thank you, Steve. All right, so I kicked that off well. So 13 weeks ago, I entered this program with a full, rich, and thick head of hair. Now, it's said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I'm basically going to let you sit back for a second and understand how intensive this program really is. Having worked for Kennebec Savings Bank for the past 20 years, I entered the program with a fair amount of knowledge and exposure to the KLI curriculum and activities. So it wasn't a surprise to me to see firsthand how well organized, enriching, and substantial this program is. One of my personal objectives was to gain a stronger insight into the various volunteer opportunities in the Kennebec Valley. What I found through the KLI program is a rich, full, and thick set of opportunities available in our community through a wide variety of business, educational, nonprofit, and government areas. As I reflect on the various speakers we had,
and had the pleasure to meet, a few common messages were repeated and reinforced time and again. Find your passion and follow it. Don't wait until the time is right to volunteer, as the time will never be right. Simply engage and commit yourself to the process, and finally, volunteer membership numbers are low. So do what you can, where you can, and apply your skills and your help, as these assets are needed within our community to create a strong and vibrant place to live. These are items that I'm sure many of you in this room have followed through the years. We need to send that message outward to others. We need to increase the level of volunteerism within the Kennebec Valley. We need to make sure that others share our passion. In closing, I would like to thank Steve, my classmates, and the large number of speakers and panelists for the new connections made, invaluable lessons learned, and strong sense of community. Thank you.
Graduate number 9 is a branch operations and item processing manager, also at Kennebec Savings Bank. Please join me in congratulating Jessica Norton. Jess. I'll take that. I'll shake your hand.
You after. I won't start by saying good morning because that's been said a few times. I have to tell a little story first. I'm allergic to sunshine and flowers, and earlier this week I couldn't even speak, and I thought for sure I was out of this. But my voice came back just in time, thank goodness. And I am very glad to see a bunch of people that I work with here today. So thank you, Brent and Matt, and Heather and Aaron and Donna, and our president, Andrew Silsby, and some guy who's retiring. It means a lot that you're all here today to support this program and to support Jim and I. But basically, I've been tasked with speaking for a couple of minutes about what I'm going to take away from KLI, and that's a huge job, given the hours that we spent doing this. I could probably pick any one topic and talk about it for an hour. I'll try to keep it to a half an hour. But I think we've already seen it this morning. There was something that touched every single one of us. And a lot of the speeches that my fellow graduates are making are filled with quotes that touched us from different people. Things that they said that were exactly the right thing to say at that moment that we put stars around and underlined. And that happened every single time. And Steve opened this morning with a speech that was full of quote after quote after proverb after proverb. And I believe it was Mark Johnson who said that he's a quote aficionado, and if you are, then this is the program for you. But whether it was, Amanda Bartlett talking about her experiences and the fact that you have to invest in yourself, no matter if it's going to take 15 years to get it done, it's worth the battle. Or Laura Hudson sharing her very moving and emotional story of her experiences. We heard from so many different leaders. They all took a different path. They all got involved in different ways. But at the end of the day, they all have, incredible words of wisdom for all of us. So for me, it wasn't just one topic. It wasn't writing vision statements or sending whole messages or giving feedback or running a more effective meeting. That was the thing I'm going to take away from this, because I'm going to take all of those things away. But for me, what it was more about, I guess, was that we set goals. We talked. We shared experiences. We brainstormed. We troubleshot, issues going on at each other's workplaces. Now we know a lot about all the organizations that you represent. We got to visit incredible places of businesses to hold our panels and our all-day sessions, and we thank you for opening your doors for that. We heard from people that work all over the map and that care about issues all over the map in Kennebec Valley, and all of those people had quotes, amazing quotes. So maybe it was when Tobias Parkhurst at our downtown panel said something like, you grow up saying when they should do this and they should do that, but now we're they, so what are we going to do? Maybe that's what touched you, because that was the one that stood with me. Or maybe it was Actually, another really great one was Lori LaChance sharing with us one of her favorite quotes, which is that attitude is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure. Those kind of things stick with us. But also, so from the very first morning of opening weekend when we botched introductions of one another to the last activity of closing weekend when we all had to sit there and listen to everybody else tell us what they admired about us, we all had this shared experience of thinking and planning and bringing things back to where we work. And all of those things, I guess, are the overarching takeaway for me, that it's important to take that time to talk to other people, to develop our skills, and basically remember that, as Jim said, you'll never have time if you just keep saying, I'm going to do it when I have time. So we all need to invest in ourselves and, work hard to make ourselves and the Kennebec Valley a better place. So whether it's figuring out where we fit into this puzzle called leadership or this little microcosm of Kennebec Valley, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me from this program. Thank you.
Graduate number 10 is an account executive with the GHM agency. Please congratulate Allison Payne. I will hold those for you.
I'll shake your hand first.
That's great.
Good morning. I will say it, Jess. Sorry. I would be remiss if I didn't start out quickly by thanking 4 wonderful people that I didn't expect to be in the audience today: Donna, Silas, Bill, and Martha. I think that in starting a Leadership Institute, you have to be able to look to the leaders that you work with. And I think the 4 of you definitely have shown me a great way and, a lot of support throughout this process. And I truly appreciate that, as well as all of the other people back at the office who could not, of course, be here today. Of course, you couldn't get through a Leadership Institute without all of the people at work supporting you because of the time you take away to be here. So I am going to thank all the wonderful people that gave us their space, opened their offices, opened their buildings to us for all of our wonderful seminars. So for day-long sessions, as you've heard more than once, we had 4 of them: Kennebec Savings Bank, Kaplan University, Bangor Savings Bank, and Central Maine Power. For our panels, we were lucky enough to get to use Augusta City Hall twice. MEMA also opened their doors to us. Coney High School, UMA, we got to see 2 of their facilities, T-Mobile in Oakland, and the beautiful Waterville Opera House. For opening weekend, as someone mentioned in the beginning, Dave, we had a great experience at the Hampton Inn that I don't think any of us will ever forget. And then as well, closing weekend, we'll put it nicely, Sugarloaf was a very good experience for all of us that we'll all take away. I just wanted to say on a personal note that every time for the rest of my life that I drive by one of these locations, I won't be able to forget any of you, and it will make me smile for all the experiences that we shared. So, thank you.
Nice job, Allison. Graduate number 11 is the Resource Development and Communications Manager with the United Way of Kennebec Valley. Please congratulate Heather Pouliot. I will hold those.
Good morning, everybody. As you heard, my name's Heather Pouliot. I work at United Way, and I'd first like to thank Rob and Kelly over there for coming and seeing me graduate this morning, and for allowing me to miss so much work to get this full KLI experience. It's been great. Since I work at United Way and I'm in fundraising, I would like to talk a little bit about the fundraising for our project at the Boys and Girls Club. When the Boys and Girls Club board members came and asked us to think about the project there of the kitchen and renovating it, in my mind I was thinking, oh yeah, kitchen renovation, no big deal, it'll be about $10,000. Which is that's a lot of money to raise in 2 months with people you don't know. And I'm sure you all realize that working with 15 people, all strangers, is very difficult to learn all of their styles of organizing and managing and task management. it was a learning experience, to say the least. We also quickly realized, after talking with the city and with codes and contractors, that it wasn't so much a $10,000 project. We quickly found out it was more like 25. And I will say I kind of had a little bit of doubt that we would raise the full amount. That's bad as a fundraiser. I'm very excited to say today, however, that we have really great community and everybody stepped up. We actually went over our goal as of yesterday.
Woo, woo, woo.
To date, we have raised $25,045, and there are still checks that I'm expecting to come in. And I'd also like to thank United Way, for hosting the funds, and for Wendy, who is sitting at our office counting the money right now. So thank you for all of the businesses and donors. And I will say we had one very, very generous donor who a couple of weeks ago called United Way and pledged an anonymous $20,000 to this project. So it's really great that the community really supports this, and the teens at the center are really going to appreciate it. Thank you.
Future KLI classes, the bar is set high. Our 12th graduate is the Director of Nursing at the Riverview Psychiatric Recovery Center. Please congratulate Buck Pouchard. Mr. Pouchard, I will hold those.
Good morning, everybody. Unlike some folks who are able to bring people from work to come here, I chose to leave mine at work. I hope you'll all understand, okay? And just another thing I wanted to point out, Jason, could you stand up? Jason and I are twins. Separated at birth. But I was tasked with the closing weekend. And what can I say? What happens at KLI stays at KLI. Thank you very much. No, it was a great thing to be part of this. I didn't even know it existed till my boss came up and says, I think you should go there. And a lot of people over the years had said, Buck, you should go to this class. This is one that I finally graduated. And coming in 13th out of 12th for a long time is not good. So I feel good about this, and I've met some wonderful people. Steve, he's going to have to retire soon. This guy, over the last weekend, he's this high energy. He's doing his hair. He's breaking into a sweat, and we're just saying, come on, we want to go to lunch, Steve. But he kept us going. He kept us focused. I'm really happy to have done this course and complete it. The amount of time we spent together, the laughing, the bonding, you can't get any better than that. Great people over there, and I'm really happy to have met these 15 individuals, or 14 because I'm 15. Bringing the project together, as Heather said, was nerve-wracking at best. I still think we have a little more money out there that's going to come in, and we look very forward to completing this. And of course, with the hard work of Jason and a few other members, the fire alarm project is something that we think is going to go on for years to come. We have promised in our last weekend to continue to stay in touch. We're going to finish up the project together. We're hoping we have a few other opportunities, barbecues, drinks, though none of us drink that much. But I guess what I want to do is, most of all, thank Steve. Heck of a nice guy, kept us focused. Those persons who interviewed me and decided to take me, checks in the mail. And just thank you all for being here and supporting us.
Thanks, John. You got a career as a comedian. Our next graduate is a press room manager at J.S. McCarthy Printing. Please join me in congratulating Randy Robbins. Randy.
Good morning. I know it's been said a few times. This is going to be a little different than the rest of what you've heard. I'm going to be talking about what I'm taking away from the KLI experience. Steve mentioned a statement a couple times, and it really caught my attention. It's good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. My career in printing manufacturing and printing manufacturing management has taught me the previous statement to be very true. I've made many mistakes along the way, but KLI has taught me to be a more balanced leadership style for managing people. Some of which I was spot on, and others not so much. We've had a great facilitator and mentor in Steve, and we've had some outstanding panel discussions with leaders from state and local city governments, owners of successful local businesses, directors of much-needed charities and cultural organizations, leaders from police, local, state, and leaders from statewide emergency management. These people are what I call the pillars of our community. To sit down and speak with them was an honor. They have reaffirmed some of my beliefs and totally changed others. All these people have many common leadership styles and traits which define them as strong leaders. Some of these common styles and traits will help me develop a balanced leadership style at J.S. McCarthy and possible leadership role in my hometown. Some of these common styles and traits that resonate with me on a professional level and on a personal level are professionally, learn when to drive the bus, learn when to push the bus, and learn when to cheer it on. Create an opportunity to drive change, think outside the box, set the bar high for my team and myself. Take my job seriously, not myself, and move past my mistakes. Personally, let myself take risk, expand my comfort zone. Those of you who know me, this is not my comfort zone. Don't be afraid to dream and act on that dream. As Lori LaChance said, at first that dream seemed impossible, then improbable, then inevitable. For me, my experience through KLI has been life-changing, professionally and personally. I want to thank J.S. McCarthy Printers, especially the Tarter family, the Kennebec Leadership Institute for this opportunity. Most of all, I want to thank my class members. You guys are awesome. I learned a lot from each of you, laughed a lot, I mean a lot. Made some lifelong friends. The energy and passion you all have is impressive and energizing. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank all of you here today for supporting this Leadership Institute. Your support is helping build future community and business leaders. Thank you.
Graduate number 14 is a multiple lines representative with State Farm Insurance. Please congratulate Rita Schedule. And here she comes. I'll hold those for you, Rita. I'll put the pin right on there.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. Hello. Okay. Thank you all so much for coming today to sit with all of us and celebrate our success. I just found out this morning. I think that's awesome. I'm so proud of everybody. I really am. I'm going to cry. I don't know. Okay. On behalf of our class, we want to thank all of our coworkers, employees, friends, and most importantly, our families. Family is truly the support of a family and working together and supporting one another is huge. It's huge. The strength of our communities, working and pulling all together. Sorry, I'm just really overwhelmed. I truly believe class time away from all of you, paired with your shared support, has and your investment in all of us is huge. To see the strengths that we have as working as a team and what we can all accomplish together as a community. I'm excited to see where our life path will go and what will follow. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Rita.
Congratulations.
Nice job. And finally, graduate number 15 is finance manager at Kaplan University here in Augusta. Please congratulate graduate Joshua Turner. Josh.
Steve, I'll shake your hand first.
All right, and I'll hold that for you.
All right, so I'm the last to go, so bear with me. Now this would actually be fitting because for opening weekend, I was actually the first one to talk when we all met each other. So I guess this is a good close to the experience. I'd actually first like to thank my wife, who is not here. Part of this program, we were gone late hours. I wasn't there for the dogs and, just kind of house-related activities. So she was there to step up for me, so I'd like to thank her for that. When each one of us first committed to the Kennebec Leadership Institute, we were excited, a little nervous, and unsure of the adventure ahead. Our journey started January 31st at the Hampton Inn on Kennedy Memorial Drive in Waterville. Eager to learn and to meet our new colleagues, the snowstorm that morning was not going to hold us back. From the mini group breakout sessions to lunch breaks, we all really started to network and get a better sense of who and what we are. Our evening panels and full days range from a variety of topics such as Augusta's history, state and local government, education, and community service. As we asked questions, you could see curiosity sparkling in our eyes as we engaged in local and heartfelt interests. The bonds amongst us were starting to grow and friendships were forming. As the end of the project was near, it was clear that we all served a better purpose and had a sense of duty to give back to our community that has given us so much. Closing weekend finally came, and we were all celebrating our group success. As we all watched Steve, our fearless leader, give his last lesson, we felt a sense of accomplishment. When Steve gave us the final cue that it was time to go home, no one looked worried or disappointed. We all walked out that day, adding 14 new extended family members to our contact list. I am personally proud to have each one of you as my friend. Please remember, if anyone needs an ear, or if someone needs to have a friend or a cup of coffee with, I am here. So thank you, KLI, Class of 29.
And before we finish, could I get the class to stand up? This year's class, please stand up one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kennebec Leadership Institute class of 2015. Anything else you need to do, Ross?
No, this concludes our breakfast. Thank you again for coming, and certainly I want to put a bug in your ear. If you have employees that you feel are good candidates for this course next year, it's never too early to reach out to us and get some details and sign those people up early. So thank you again for coming. We'll see you next month.